Good morning. My name is Rocco, and I'm serving as your co-mediator alongside Rapelli. I'm a certified mediator resolving disputes such as the one before us today. I am pleased to be here to assist you in working through your issues and believe you will find the mediation to be a very helpful process. Just a brief overview about the family and mediation process. Family and divorce mediation process. Family and divorce mediation is a process in which a mediator, an impartial third party, helps solve family disputes by encouraging the participants' voluntary agreement. The family mediator assists communication and encourages understanding and focuses participants on their individual and common interests. The family mediator works with the participants to explore options, make decisions, and reach their own agreements. Family mediation is not a substitute for the need for family members to obtain independent legal advice or counseling or therapy, nor is it appropriate for all families. However, family mediation is a valuable option for many families because it can increase self-determination of the participants and their ability to communicate, promote best interests of the children, reduce the economic and emotional costs associated with the resolution of family disputes. Family cases are especially well suited for mediation because the issues are particularly personal and emotional. The fact that mediation gives people the opportunity to be heard and listen to the perspectives of the other party means that couples are often able to work out their differences in productive and collaborative ways that minimize disruption to their lives and where their children to their children's lives. Thank you for committing to be here today. If any of you have a special need during the session, please let me know now or at any time during the session. Also, please silence all electronic devices during this mediation. Now, please give your attention to my co-mediator, Jackie Rapelli.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jacqueline Rapelli, and I am going to be your other mediator today. This mediation session is an opportunity for all of you guys to be heard. This is a confidential process, and the information shared here today will not be disclosed. I cannot be compelled by the court to disclose this information that you're providing here today either, unless you are offering information regarding harm to yourself or to others, or information regarding endangering a child. I'm not here to represent either of you. I will not be able to provide you with legal advice or guidance either. This is an environment where we encourage safety, and unsafe behavior will end the mediation. Now that we've introduced ourselves, you both get an opportunity to speak. So who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Hey everyone, my name is Ben Lutz. So it was just a couple weeks ago. I work a job that kind of forces me to be on call on days like New Year's and holidays, and I was doing my shift at work. I got lucky. I was able to get off of work a couple hours early, so I drove home. I get home, and I walk into my house, walk into my bedroom. I find my wife laying there with another man, and I went nuts. I see my wife cheating on me in my house. I didn't know what to do. I wanted her out of the house. I want her out of the house. She refuses to leave. She claims that I was cheating on another woman. I just want her out of my house. She's not leaving. I paid for that house with my hard-earned money, and I refuse to give it. I refuse to give it up. She's got to get out of my house. You want to be sleeping around, and do it on your own. Do it in your own house. Don't do it in my house. I want a divorce. I want her out of my house ASAP.
So from what I just heard you say, just to give you an overview, what you said is that you work a job that sometimes requires you to have shifts during holidays such as New Year's. And one of these nights you walked in and you found your spouse cheating on you, laying there with another man, and you want her out of the house immediately, right?
Immediately. I put all my I work on New Year's just to support us. and I come into my house and I see my wife laying there with another dude. How do you think that makes me feel? That's terrible. I want
And
her out.
for how long have you wanted her out for?
Well, I really only knew that she was sleeping around for a couple of weeks. Um, so once I found that, I can't have that in my life.
Things that this matter is still very fresh, and your emotions are still very fresh from the situation.
Very much so, yes.
Jennifer, do you have any responses to this?
Yes, I do. So what happened was I cheated on Ben and Ben cheated on me. Now I went and I talked to a law school student at Toro Law Center at the divorce mediation clinic, and they told me all kinds of information. So I know everything. Okay, New York is a state where there's no fault, and I deserve half of everything that was earned or purchased after the marriage anyway. So I'm not going to litigate this case in court. His defenses are not going to hold up because he committed adultery. So I think that what we should do is come to an agreement to avoid the cost of going to court, because I talked to this Toro law student and she gave me all the information that I need to know. And I'm not going to allow him to commit adultery and get away with it.
You also committed adultery, and I'm
Okay,
not going
thank
to
you.
court.
Thank you, Jennifer, and thank you, Ben, for sharing this information with us today. Jennifer, what I'm hearing from you is that you are you're stating what happened, and you're not disagreeing with Ben as to what happened. Did I get that correct?
Yeah, the facts are there.
Okay. Um, what I'm also hearing from you is that you did some of your own research and you investigated how the law works regarding this matter, and you went to to our law center.
Yes, the clinic there.
Okay. And it sounds like you're upset, and even though you're upset, you're still looking to come to some kind of agreement with Ben.
We have to reach an agreement. I mean, I need to be taken care of.
Hmm. Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is you need to be taken care of. Can you expand a little bit more on what that means exactly?
Well, I spent 3 years of my life in this relationship committed to making a family. Okay. Um, I am I'm young, but I haven't been in school in a really, really long time. And I was just looking for a husband, and Ben was that for me. And our family life was everything to me. I don't have income. I'm really used to the standard of living that he provided me with, and I don't see why I should have to change just because, well, the issue was we both did something, and I don't think that I should have to pay for it if he did the same thing to me. Why do I have to suffer? I'm young, but once again, I haven't been in school in a long time. I was committed to family. So I think that I'm owed a reasonable amount of all the stuff that we accumulated the whole time that we were together.
Hmm. Okay, thank you for sharing more with us, Jennifer. So what I heard you say is you are very dedicated to your family, and over the course of your relationship, you've become accustomed to a certain type of lifestyle. Is that correct?
That's right. And it was all with concern for our son, Gabriel. Like, I thought that the lifestyle that Ben had was one that he would want to pass on to his children, where there's wealth, there's enjoyment. I don't think that I should have to be set backwards. And I do want custody of our child. Now, I'm not going to talk about that right now because Ben just accused me of adultery, which is okay. That's true. I made a mistake, but I don't think that he should be entitled to take everything from me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So
Jennifer, this is something you should have thought about before cheating on me. You should have thought about this
thank you,
idea.
Ben. So
Why is there a double standard?
well, Ben, could you expand more on your response to Jennifer?
Well, I understand how Jennifer feels, um, but if she was so worried about being taken care of, then she wouldn't have cheated on me. I can't
Mm-hmm.
understand why she cheated on me. We had a great thing going.
Okay, so what I'm hearing from you, Ben, is that you don't feel like Jennifer thought about that, and because of that, you don't feel it is a huge concern going forward. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Jennifer, I heard you mention your son Gabriel. Um, could you tell us a little bit more about that and what you expect going forward?
Well, Gabriel's 2 years old and he's my whole life. Okay. I'm not just out here living it up. Like, I'm taking care of our child. And what I expect moving forward is that I will continue to have to take care of him until he's at least 21 years old. I mean, that's what my Toro law student told me, that that Gabriel remains a minor until he's 21. So somebody needs to help me take care of his child, our child. And I don't think that, going back to that other issue that he keeps wanting to bring up, the adultery issue, he did it too. There's a double standard. My law school student told me all about recrimination, and he wants to bring a case. Well, he did the same thing himself. So his case is not going to hold up.
Well, even if I did cheat, I wouldn't have cheated on your bed or on if it were your house. I wouldn't have done it in your house. You cheated in my house. I want you out of the house for that reason. That's terrible. That's disgusting. Why would you cheat on me in my house?
Well,
So from understanding the conflict, the major conflict in this issue is the issue of cheating, correct, Ben?
That's the major issue here. And for that
um,
reason, I want her out of the house and I want to be left alone in my own house with my son.
I disagree. The major issue is me being treated like a human being. And I made a mistake. It was no worse than anything Ben had done. And we committed to creating something together. I live in this house with our son, Gabriel. What are we going to do about him? I'm concerned about our son.
So Ben, bringing in Gabriel to the question, well, would you be able to put yourself in Jennifer's shoes and understand that perhaps she said that she made a mistake and it seems as if she regrets it. Would you be able to put yourself in her shoes and maybe try to visualize some sort of outcome from this?
Listen, I understand people make mistakes. I get it. But she's our son Gabriel is is playing with the blocks in the living room and she's in the bedroom with some random dude. How do you think that
Mhm.
that'll look in Gabriel's eyes? Who knows? Maybe he'll remember. I know he's young. Maybe he'll remember this for when he gets older, and who knows how it could
So,
affect him.
so Ben, what I'm hearing from you is that you seem like you're very hurt, and you're concerned with how this will affect your son as well. Is that correct?
Definitely.
Okay. Um, Jennifer, you also mentioned how you want to be treated like a human. Could you expand a little more on what that looks like for you?
Yes, I will try, but I'm almost to the point of tears on this issue.
Mhm.
Um, what Ben saw was a mistake, but I've had to live with similar conduct from Ben for a long time. I knew that he was doing things behind my back. Nissan Jackie, you have to understand my perspective on this. Okay? We never talked about being in an open marriage, but I always knew that Ben was going to continue to be with other women. And my role is just to be the domestic wife at home, taking care of our son, as if my feelings don't matter and my needs are of no concern. Gabriel didn't see anything take place. I'm his primary caretaker, and I make sure that he is treated excellently because this is my pride and joy. So, Ben, I'm sorry, but you didn't change either for this marriage.
So Jennifer, thank you for sharing that information. What I heard is that the dynamics of your relationship played a part in this situation of why you think you got here today. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, there was a history. There was a history of infidelity that Ben doesn't want to talk about, and he wants to act like he's the victim in this situation, but that's not true.
Okay. What I also heard you say was you have the role of the domestic keeper, a housewife in this situation. And is that something that was working for you guys, or is that a problem for you guys?
Well, I mean, it means that I wasn't earning an income outside of the home. Like, there was a clear set of expectations. I stay home with this pretty nice standard of living. Ben did a good job with the house and making sure that Gabriel has stuff to play with, has things to enrich his mind, and is eventually going to go to an excellent private school. I don't want any of that future to change on account of what took place. I want to continue to be in this house if possible. I don't think that I should have to leave.
Okay, so what I'm hearing from you is that the house seems to be a main concern of yours. Is that correct?
Definitely, that's my home.
Okay. Ben, would you agree to this,
Listen,
or do you see this differently?
Jennifer just said it herself. She's at home, she doesn't work. I'm the one who puts the bread on the table. I'm the one who brings in all the money to support her, to support Gabriel. And I want everything that I have ever bought for her back, and I want her out of the house.
So from what I'm saying, do you see any room for negotiation? Because from what I've heard you just say is that you seem pretty set on your ways, but I do understand that you've entered mediation, and hopefully we could try to agree to some sort of solution here. So I guess my question would be, if you put yourself in Jennifer's shoes, someone that didn't have a job, that someone that perhaps may not be able to support herself as well because she didn't have a job for all of these years, and it might be very difficult to find a job, especially in today's environment. Is there anything that you perhaps could try to mitigate the situation?
Well, listen, I don't want to bring this to court. I don't want this going to court. I don't. So yeah, I am open to working with Jennifer and figuring out a good game plan. I would be interested in hearing what Jennifer has to say and what her idea, what she thinks she deserves from all the
But
things that I've.
before you mention that you don't want to see this in court, what do you think would happen if this mediation would fail?
If the mediation would fail, which I really hope it does not, I hope that Jennifer and I will be able to work something out that we're both happy with. But if this mediation were to fail, I don't know. We'd have to figure out other routes of coming to, a resolution, a happy resolution for both of us. Whether that means, I don't know, arbitration or something. I really want to try to keep it out of the public courthouse system,
Yeah.
public court system, but this is something that we really have to work out.
So
Having
Ben, what I'm hearing from you is a desire to work out this conflict between you and Jennifer.
Absolutely.
Okay. Um,
having this type of conflict, how do you feel that this goes counter to your values?
Well, listen, it's out on the table. I'm no angel either, like Jennifer said, I definitely had a past with doing some things that I regret. Um, but like our child is sitting there, like I said, and Jennifer brings in another man into the house. What do you think the child thinks that is? You think the child thinks that's like Uncle Tom? Like the child, like for the child, I can't even imagine what kind of things are going through the child's head. Yes, granted, the child's young, so I really hope that he doesn't remember, the things that he saw, or that he's seen. But that's just totally not cool in my value system.
You mentioned things that he saw. Do you know that he saw anything for certain, or is that something you have reason to believe?
No, I can't say for certain that he saw anything, but Jennifer brings this guy into my house, and our child is sitting there playing. Like, I don't know, like at the very least, first of all, get out of my house. Go do it somewhere else. Second of all, why would you, like, I don't know, bring the child to your parents or something. Don't have the child just sit there and be
what I'm
exposed to
hearing
this type of thing.
from you, Ben, is that the way in which the events took place, or what is what's the hardest for you?
Definitely the way, the events took place, and I'm just frustrated,
Mhm.
with how she thinks that she has earned or deserves, to be part of any of the assets that I put into the house, any of the assets that I bought for our family.
Mhm. So could I hear you expand a little bit more on earning and deserving, and what do you think that means to earn something or deserve something in this situation?
Well, yeah. Generally, as we know, a husband and wife, when they get married, they share things. I understand that, but
Mhm.
there are plenty of things which, I don't feel that, although we were officially married, I just don't feel that Jennifer deserved, most of those things.
Mhm.
Like the house, our cars. Like I want my car back. Like she has not been a loyal wife. She's not been a good wife.
So you're stating that there was also issues as far as being a good wife outside of this issue. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. She, I mean, any wife who cheats on their husband is not considered a good wife. But there are plenty of other examples outside of that
Okay.
demonstrates how she was not a good wife and not a good mother, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Um,
So it sounds like you're feeling very hurt, and because of that,
May I
you
interject? I am outraged.
okay.
Please on what you feel that isn't right of what Ben just said.
He basically assassinated my character right now.
Mhm.
And the reason that he doesn't want to take this to court, the secret reason that he doesn't want to take this to court is because there will be witnesses to his testimony, and there's going to be multiple women coming up saying how they were used by Ben. Okay? Outside of this household, you think Ben's a nice guy. he makes decent money. He's a manipulator. He manipulates women, gets them to sleep with him, uses them, and casts them aside. Now, I thought that I was special, and I thought that I was going to be treated differently, and I did my best to create a family. My law school student at Toro told me that if I proceeded with this case, I would have a great case for alimony. I would have a great case to can you get maintenance, and I would have a great case for custody of the child because Ben is a serial adulterer, and I am completely entitled to half of the benefits, if not more, that he accrued throughout this marriage. I'm entitled to child support, alimony, and maintenance, and this home is partly mine too. Ben, you cannot take my life away from me.
Mhm.
And Jennifer, you said of taking advantage of the sense of making them feel special. Was this before your marriage or during or both?
It took place before. I knew this was going on before. Ben promised me he would change. These were lies. And he's just going to continue to be this bad man and treat our child like our child is not entitled to the best possible life. I need child support and I need alimony, and I should not be made homeless. My law school student told me that no way could I get kicked out on the street.
So Jennifer, what I'm hearing from you is that you're very, very angry and also very hurt and frustrated by many things here, starting with what you felt was an assassination on your character. And you're very concerned with where we're going go in the future based on those things. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right, Jackie. Thank you.
Okay. So it seems like at this point, there's a lot of emotions here for both of you, and it's going to be hard to work through those to come to a solution, just so that we can get a better understanding of how we can proceed forward. Could you guys share a little bit more about your assets with us and what they are?
Sure. I mean, some of the major assets that I've purchased and accrued over the years. Well, we have 2 cars. We have I have all the jewelry that I bought for Jennifer. We have the house, which is at least $1 million house. There's the dog. There's some cash that I have in the house. We own some shares in stocks that I've purchased. That's the big. Those are the big things.
Okay, thank you, Ben. Jen, would you say that is accurate, or are there more assets?
There might be other assets. Ben is not necessarily fully open to me about what he has. He pays me an allowance, and I use it to take care of myself and Gabriel. And as far as I'm aware, everything he said is true. But you have to understand where I'm coming from, which is like I quit my job. Now, granted, my job didn't pay a lot of money. Ben saw me, he recognized my potential. I was doing waitressing and acting, and I was also volunteering at the library. I wasn't making a lot of money, and I didn't finish in college. So Ben just kind of took care of me. And I think that I think that my life should not have to change drastically as a result of the separation.
Okay. So what I heard from you, Jennifer, was your circumstances prior to the marriage, your circumstances now, and what you expect going forward. You expect things to stay the same.
That's true, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I think at this point, this would be a good time for us to have an individual conversation, which we call a caucus, with both of you, so we could really go over both of your interests. Is that something that you guys would be interested in doing?
I'm okay with that.
Yes.
Okay.